You go, Joss and leg day.
Thank you very much, Anna. British Hurricane versus Lowkey. British Hurricane over on the whites. Lowkey on the green.
Anna, she spit some fire on the mic. We're about to spit something a little bit hotter as we prepare to roll out here on Oasis for first match. The first map of our Atlantic Showdown. It's going to be Europe going up against South America for, as far as I am concerned, the first time ever. Lowkey rolling out as we expected with that Sombra, but it's going to be backed up with a Winston Jaws over on the side of British Hurricane. Numlocked also going to be on the Scientist.
Yeah, Maureen's already taking the high ground. Not too much of a bad position, especially if you're expecting the dive coming through from the Winston, of course, and Happy Cool as well. Trying to navigate towards the backline. I think British Hurricane, of course, expecting this at this point. You can hold tab and just see what the enemy team's running.
Yeah, and Bucket being on that Anna will not be as vulnerable to an EMP. It's going to be a dive from Numlock. He's going to ward away Maurice, make sure he's not able to build up that EMP as quickly as he would otherwise like. British Hurricane may get a free first cap here, but there's going to be a contest.
Almost free. Maurice actually de-stealths to make sure he can contest. Already up to 40% way to that EMP. He's bringing it rather quickly, although he's half HP now, has to back off a little bit further. That Testicle doing a whole lot of damage to the shield. A beautiful pirate grenade as well on the front line. Fasty has to get the heck out of a dodge so quickly. So does Peace Lover. Does mean British Hurricane are going to cap the point.
Yeah, when you get the heck out of dodge, you give up that capture percentage, and British Hurricane are now in control. Yofi was the main hack target, but looks like there's not much follow through there. Asuna going to play a faux front line.
There's a lot of damage coming out from Suna already. Has to chew through those shields first, of course, before getting those chunky right clicks around the shield.
Primal Rage ready. It's going to be potentially a big tool here. Murray's going to use the EMP.
Numlock gets instantly deleted. A 6-man EMP coming out from Lowkey. They need to be able to take over the point. British Hurricane now stalling out for as long as they can, of course. Bolt was hacked there. Couldn't use the nano boost on the Reinhardt or the Winston even. So he instantly goes down. Nothing you can really do. And that's only one ult used in that engagement as well.
Yeah, and Winston being hacked as well means he can't pop that Primal Rage, can't get that 1,000 health buffer. British Hurricane do stagger themselves out a little bit here to get the extra capture percentage. Will bring themselves up to 50%, but now Lowkey are in control, and they've got quite a few tools to try and hang on to this with. They've almost got 5 ultimates, and we've seen that Maurice is so good at being able to build up these EMPs in short time. British Hurricane could potentially make a deep dive here with Numlocked. If he does get that nano boost, will mean that he's a bit more survivable, and also, once he's able to use that Primal Rage, that extra 1,000 health will mean that he's in a great position to cause some chaos.
Got to be careful though. Maurice always up to 60%. Nano Booster's going to go on to Numlocked. He does jump to the back line, just trying to focus down the supports for the time being. Graviton Surge will end up locking him up. Dana's going to be in there as well, but the hack is going to come through and actually stop a lot of that initial healing coming through from the supports. I mean, now Hafiko and Suna are cleaning up the rest of the fight. That very early EMP was on a Primal Raging Winston. Well, Numlocked with a Primal Rage. There wasn't any chance of them just chunking him out so quickly. Plus, Dana was actually using the rally as well.
Yeah, Suna there laid down the Graviton Surge. As soon as he saw that Ole's Transcendence had run out, Pixie Lover had to come in with the sound barrier thereafter to try and give him the health to survive through that onslaught, but eventually British Hurricane just have a better target focus. Taking down targets one by one did bring them back into control. Now Lowkey, of course, they do have the EMP again from Maurice, and they managed to win out the fight with only one ultimate last time, Joel. So Maurice is right now, he's scouting out positions. He's going to feed back that info to his team so they can have an informed assault. Look at Danid crossing over there onto a pavilion. May be hard to try and catch him out.
I don't know, but I actually see him there. Did have his back to him. Point actually gets flipped over. Looking at that for free. Numlock's going to go down. Fastly finding a big shatter. No EMP necessary this time around. And again, only one ult used. It's pretty good if you're Lowkey. Plus, you've got that initial capture percentage. Hurricane just let them go on the point for free.
And you can hear that energy, Jaws, the emotion that fuels the South American team so much. You hit a big shout out in here. The crowd are going to let you know that they are happy with your performance. And Maurice still has that EMP. This could sort of stymie British Hurricane's next push that's coming in. But they do have a couple of tools of their own. They have that Nano Winston again, which was so important last time. Numlock's going to try and control the high ground here as British Hurricane move on to pressure the point.
There's the Nano again on Numlocked before the EMP comes out. He jumps into 5 people. Gets booped away. He's still got that Primal Rage as well. Tries to, again, just connect himself with his supports. He's on the Zenyatta, who's going oh so low, but the healing is coming through from the Brigitte to keep him alive. Happy-Go launched a bomb in and actually managed to at least find 1 kill. Numlock just causing havoc in the back line, finally using the Primal Rage, but he's making it work. Lico is going to go down as well as British Hurricane end up flipping the point.
And that was such great teamwork there from British Hurricane. They knew Maurice was going to try and get the manual hack onto Numlock. He doesn't have much of a chance to try and stop that, and that can make him a huge ult battery. The rest of British Hurricane focused on getting the fire on Maurice to interrupt that channel, but now we're moving into last fight territory, but Maurice got slept.
He's still got the EMP though. That's the most important thing. In fact, he's actually going to get soloed out completely. Numlock's isolating with the bubble. The grab's going to come out as well. There's no way you can run away from this. Ole's going to use the Transcendence, yes, but it's too little too late. British Hurricane just chewing through the rest of Lowkey, and now all the ults desperately thrown in. I mean, Liko, yes, he's got the rally, but no, the grenade is going to seal the deal on his life, and Lowkey ended up forgoing the first map, and British Hurricane are up 1-0.
British Hurricane, they find themselves on map point here on Oasis, but I do wonder where we're going to be going next, Jaws. You've got to think that maybe there are some specific strategies for these different points. We see University can often be quite good for supplying like a Reinhardt 3-3 with a great place, and that's exactly where we're going to go. So we can expect that Numlocked may decide to swap over here. You can see that on your screens now. But Bucket, does he want to go over to that Zenyatta? Does he want the extra damage with the Discord orb? It would appear so, but will Maurice be changing over to try and match him? We've got to think with Lowkey what they're lacking when they don't have that diva play that would usually be the mainstay of Honorato. It means you're lacking the boops, you're lacking the defense matrix, and a huge amount of shield pressure that can come out of those fusion cannons, Jaws. Going to roll out now. It's going to be the usual Sombra.
Where is she actually going to flank there? That's the question. University isn't the biggest map, of course. There isn't a whole lot of like open ground. Reinhardt can cover this very, very small pavilion that you see in the middle very easily. Trying to get a little bit of damage now, but he's already dead. Stunned up, couldn't use the translocator, and that's the first kill.
Look at those support assists as well. You've got the shield bash in there, you've got the Discord orb. They're definitely focusing out Maurice, making sure he can't do as much as he'd like to. And now British Hurricane, once again, they're going to plant themselves from a point. They want the territory control here. Lowkey have to decide whether they want to go in undermanned or if they're going to give up this first cap. They will.
Now Lowkey really just have to full reset, wait for Maurice to just get back and then set himself up. Sombra takes a little bit of time to actually set up, especially, like I said before, on these maps that are so enclosed. Fasti now trying to make his way onto the point. Numlock's going to stand his ground at the back, though. He's going to give Lowkey a little bit of space.
All of these tanks need to be careful not to get booped down into the hole. You can see an attempt coming through there. Maurice is in the back trying to go for a manual hand, but he's down again!
Dana finds the whip shot kill on Maurice. 50% ult charge. By this time, he'd already used the EMP. They already won a fight on City Center. And now they're going to have to, once again, go for another reset. British Hurricane working up to quite a few ults as well.
Quick adaptation from British Hurricane. They're identifying Maurice. They're trying to figure out his playstyle, which he learned mostly from Doha. He told us they've been studying that Korean team that's been doing so well with the Sombra. British Hurricane now on the back foot will try and retreat to the back of the point to keep it contested. Numlocks are going to be providing that bastion of safety.
Numlock's got the shadow, though. Again, just playing a little bit farther back. Doesn't want to get booped in the hole, of course. If your Reinhardt goes down there, you lack so much front line. And it is really up to Lowkey to make a decision now. They need to go in, of course, at some point, but Lowkey are just buying their time. They're waiting for this EMP to come out. A couple more percent, and he might just get it. He jumps to the back line, but again, a couple of percent.
EMP
they need
ready.
to make something happen. EMP's going to come in. A Transcendence as well. Numlock's going to go instantly down. They end up expending 2 ultimates. Maurice ends up falling, but that will be Honorado just cleaning everybody else up. That's the one fight that they needed. British Hurricane, they threw in a couple of ults, of course, but look at the time bank, Harry, or percent bank. It's 76. We're going up to almost 80% now.
6-man EMP was all that was needed, but like you said, it was a long time coming, Jaws. Taking that long to build up an EMP is very much uncharacteristic of a Sombra of Maurice's caliber, but also British Hurricane were doing so well to shut him down, making sure that he couldn't stay in there, plinking away with that SMG for long. He's going to be doing the same now, harassing them on the entry to try and get that all-important ult charge, but low-key, they have 4 ultimates ready to go. They've only got 1 support ultimate, though it may not be enough to deal with sooner if he hits a good Graviton Surge, especially if Maurice is warded away like that.
Bomb coming in from Happy. The beat's going to come through, but Ole's already dead. A Graviton Surge will at least lock a couple of people from British Hurricane up, but they're going to answer with one of their own. And now there's no support ults to really do with anything with. Happy Call ends up going a little bit too low than he'd actually like. It's actually a beat coming through from the Lucio to actually save his life. This fight is still going, yes, but Numlock's going to hold the shield and be able to hold this choke point now. Fasti throwing the shatter in. Found almost nothing, and now they have to back off and go again. But now it's one fight before they lose this map.
Only victim of that shadow there was Bucket. He did get the repair pack from Daned to make sure that he was able to survive. Maurice once again in the back. Look at this, 98%. If that hits 100, that could be all Lowkey needs to try and bring back this map. If British Hurricane win the next fight, they're going to win Oasis and claim the first map of Atlantic Showdown.
But they know where Maurice is. They can play around it. So what a fight to kill! This is what British Hurricane needed. Daned pulls the switch as well, using that rally to march on forward, and Numlock lays everybody down. British Hurricane clear Lowkey off of the point, and Lowkey end up losing Oasis. And like Arno was saying before, they haven't lost it before. This will see a brand new feeling to them.
British Hurricane there, Bucket getting 2 direct headshots at the end. The Doctor is definitely in. He's keeping Maurice on notice. And that does mean that Lowkey will be able to choose where they are going for the hybrid map, Jaws. And we've got to wonder if there's going to be a particular map they want to go for, which is a little bit better for the Sombra. Oasis is quite a good Sombra map as well. But it seems like British Hurricane, after that first round, they adapted very quickly. They knew that if they left Maurice unchecked, he would build up those EMPs rather fast, as you would expect from someone who was studying Doha so well.
Doha, what was it, 20-something seconds? He's using
I think 23 seconds is his EMP record.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But you could see on the city center, like I mentioned at the start of University, there's so much space to roll around a Sombra. You know, you can take a lot of different flanks. Problem is on University, so, oh, cool, do I hack the mini? Like, do I hack the mini on the high ground? I just don't know where I'm going to go here because I can't really find an avenue to actually attack the back line because the front line is just so close to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter, and with a tighter formation of your team, the Reinhardt can be a lot more effective with moving that shield in order to shield up his team and make sure that damage isn't coming through, which not only denies the damage, but it also denies the ult charge for the Sombra. And the longer you're waiting with that Sombra for the EMP is, the longer that your team is ineffective in a straight-up fight with their 5 players versus the 6 of the enemy.
Well, Lowkey now get to choose a map. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere.
We're going to be better than NA.
Good enough.
Ah! Tumalala! Okay. What? Left. You f***ed up. Me? It was right. Okay, this is not good. Slow and steady race. I mean, he f***ed up the turn. Yeah. Ah! How did he do that?
Hey guys, welcome back. This is British Hurricane versus Lowkey Esports. British Hurricane with the first win on Oasis. And something I mentioned at the very end, Harry, was that was actually their first loss. That Lowkey's first loss on Oasis. Anna said they were undefeated over in Brazil. It's a very foreign taste.
Yeah, and you can see that they have been sort of like communing with the coach in the booth. And like we said before, Lowkey Esports are a pretty emotional team, or at least that's what they told us. They have the highest highs and the lowest lows, called from low-key high energy from the South American side, and they're definitely going to have rallied behind their coaching sort of like emotional stability in order to make sure that they're playing their best game as we move into hybrid, but they have been able to pick the map, so they will be a little bit more comfortable with where they go.
Yeah, it's all about picking the map that's perfect for the composition you want to run. Funnily enough, that is going to be something like a Sombra. Doesn't like we're going to King's Row. Maybe this is to tease British Hurricane a little bit. I'm not entirely sure.
Beat the British on their own turf, maybe?
Exactly. I did see Nox actually in the booth as well, just giving Hurricane a little chat, a little talking to as well.
Yeah, of course.
Citing some of his French wisdom.
Nox, Lerenegar, and Albion are the backroom staff for British Hurricane. All of them quite important, of course, with the analysis and secondary coaching. Just leaving the booth now. We should be ready to go in just a moment for you guys. And King's Row, I expect a fair amount of Sombra here. I expect just a fair amount of Sombra from Maurice throughout the entirety of the tournament, not just this match. It's going to be one of the more prominent picks from that side, and I want to see if Fasti is going to be swapping between this Winston and this Reinhardt. Because we originally saw him roll out on the Winston on City Center, but before the first engagement, they actually shuttled him back so that he could play on that Reinhardt. Potentially, they were anticipating that there would be a different matchup from British Hurricane, who had Numlock come out on the Winston as well.
I mean, think about the victor, the spoils after this match, Harry. You have to go up against Envy.
Oh, that's quite the prize.
I mean, it is. I mean, they've got Elivote on their team now as well, and a lot of players were hyping him up and saying Elivote's probably one of the meanest players that are currently at this LAN. They don't say Alarm, of course, who's probably one of the more eligible bachelors going to Overwatch League very soon.
Maybe so. I'd personally consider Fusion having him under lock and key. I think it's going to take a very expensive buyout to take Alarm away from Fusion University and Philadelphia Fusion itself.
Well, let's jump right into it. King's Row is the second map. British Hurricane versus Lowkey. Now, British Hurricane are on the defense first, so we get to see at least what they're going to run. And Box, well, Box, sticking back on the Ana. Not too much of a surprise. I mean, we're seeing a little bit more Ana coming up against Sombra compositions. At the end of the day, if the Ana doesn't get hacked, it's perfect. Because you can nano, right? And plus, if she does get hacked,
you can still heal.
You can output so much healing anyway. Your rifle does so much work to the front line. Numlock's going to get targeted more often than not if he does get hacked or EMP'd, of course.
Also, Maurice is harassing from the high ground. Using the hit scan aim down sights feature of Anna's Bardic rifle can actually mean that you can get a significant amount of harass onto away. But Sombra, Maurice already taking quite a bit of damage, going to have to get away, and will get the repair pack from Liko. And that may well be a theme that we continue to see. If Maurice is getting the repair pack, then it may be Fasti who's in trouble due to British Hurricane being able to bully out a main tank with a lack of burst healing, whereas Box can be able to provide a lot of healing for Numlocked.
A big rotation. That's a nice little pin from Numlock there. Didn't end up going into the wall, but was actually stunned before the connection. Therefore, the damage didn't actually end up going on to Fasti. However, it does get a little bit of ult charge for that, of course.
Rotations here. Lowkey want to try and control the high ground, make some space for Maurice by demanding a huge amount of attention, but Maurice is sort of coming in from the same angle. I mean, if he's only hitting Numlock's shield at the moment, Numlock trying to try and get that ultimate charge, fire striking up into multiple members of Lowkey, but still, the time ticks away, Jaws, and Lowkey are yet to make their approach onto the point. Maurice isn't even halfway to an EMP, but here comes the engagement.
Numlock's shield is pretty low. He's pretty low himself, has to be a little bit more careful. Holly was actually right in the front line. Not what you want to be if you're a Zen. And again, Danid ends up finding the kill onto Maurice. It's exactly what you want from your Brig. Normally you're like, yeah, Zen, could you try and pick off the Sombra? Just please, just left click her a couple of times in the head. Danid's actually Sombra checking way more effectively right now than I think Lowkey are actually expecting.
Also, beautiful pathfinding from Yofi as well, managing to wall ride his way around the Alderworth Hotel, get a boot, put Fasti into position. Ruby's going to be very hard to heal up. And of course, if Liko is trying to save Maurice from the attentions of Daned, there's a little bit less resource that can be funneled into Fasti to try and keep him alive. Bocket, he's on his own at the moment, maybe trying for a sneaky Bardic grenade. That could actually just damage the entire hopes of Lowkey, but he's going to reveal himself now with a couple of dark shots. And there's the grab.
Fire grenade, can't really go around that corner. Graviton Surge comes out, but the Transcendence is there to match. The nade did actually end up hitting. However, it was on the rest of his team. Nice little kill onto Fasti, of course. Pixie Lover does end up going down as well. That was one ult for British Hurricane too. That's the perfect situation to walk away from as well. 5 ultimates available. Maurice, he finally has the EMP, but it's very much now a hiding game, a waiting game for British Hurricane. He throws in the EMP, and then they got to use their ults to kind of react to that. Maybe that's why Bot was on the high ground before.
British Hurricane can position themselves so sparsely it's going to be hard to get an EMP on them all, but thus far Maurice has been very impressive with hitting multiple people. Right now he's up against Hafikul, maybe a manual hack would have come through there, but he's forced to reposition along with the rest of his team, going to try and come in from a different angle. Right now he's looking for Yofi. Yofi has that sound barrier ready to go, but he cannot use it until after the EMP.
He's found Yofi, mate. He's booping him around. He booped him out of the hotel. Grab's going to come in. Bomb's going to get matched from Hafikul as well. It explodes on the streets, but the beat was able to save them. Liko does end up falling in the meantime. Varsity was actually isolated because Hafikul's bomb split everybody up. Everybody had to run away from it or they faced instant death. And now Lowkey are now going to have to, again, once more attack this point. They haven't got a tick, and they've got a minute remaining.
There's a beautiful bisection block also, of course, investing that nano boost there. So British Hurricane going to be a little bit low on resource unless Suna can hit a couple of these mortars, which will give him the Graviton Surge. If he can catch Maurice in there before Maurice is able to use the EMP in a position he'd like to, this could be a full hold from British Hurricane. Lowkey Esports have time for maybe one more attack. Usually it'd be two, but you've got to give Maurice time to set up. You can see him in the back there.
EMP's going to come through. Yofi's going to get the perfect beat off, though. Not quite so perfect, I say that, as Numlock does end up going down anyway. Nano boost goes on to the brig. Dana's doing a whole bunch of damage. Graviton Surge is going to come through as well, but there isn't much follow-up. There's a Transcendence going off, healing everybody up. British Hurricane still managing to trade fairly evenly here. They managed to kill Pizza Lover, but now it's all up to Lowkey to finish this extremely quickly before Numlock can get back. Danid end up getting one kill, but Bot finally ends up falling. And British Hurricane, they're still fighting. Lowkey threw everything into this fight.
Numlock is back. Liko's got the rally out, but that may be all that Lowkey have here. They have 7 seconds on the clock, Jaws. They need to move forward, but Danid's ready to receive them with a rally.
Bot's got 10% towards that nano as well. Numlock's got himself his shadow also. The shadow comes through.
Slam.
3 people hit the floor. Maurice throws the Translocator away. He knows it's all over. Lowkey Esports just cannot crack the first tick of King's Row. British Hurricane winning on their own turf.
Dominance on the home turf of King's Row from British Hurricane, the academy team of London Spitfire. And of course, London Spitfire were the OWL Season 1 champions, which means British Hurricane have a lot to live up to with that brand name behind them. The support that's there is so important for this team. And now they only need to capture 33% to get themselves a win here. Remember, we are now on a first to 3 instead of a best of 5 format. That means that if you can get a draw, that it's basically a do-over. Your sins are forgiven, and we're just going to take that away from the overall map pool. And it means you can just keep trying to go until someone gets to 3 points. But if British Hurricane can take 33%, they're going to be on match point here, Jaws, and that would be a pretty speedy way to try and conclude our first match of the Atlantic Showdown.
British Hurricane are here to reclaim some of that glory that they lost out in the finals against Angry Titans. Of course, AT did end up breaking that second place curse. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride until last season around. Hurricane only managed to get 1 map against AT. It was a lot more of a role than we initially expected. So this is very much British Hurricane wanting to come out the gate extremely strong, knowing everybody else is going to be watching them. Because of course we are on land, so people can kind of, sit in the crowd and spectate if you're some of the other teams and pick up on what they're doing.
Yeah, and British Hurricane having that perfect group stage, not having any overall losses, did mean that they weren't able to really VOD reviewers effectively, maybe as to their major weaknesses. They now have a loss under their belt to Angry Titans, and that can tell you a lot about where as a team you may be going wrong. And it seems like right now British Hurricane are covering their weaknesses. Danid and Suna going to start rolling out here. Firing a couple of warning shots, seeing if they can maybe catch out Maurice, Pizza Lover, or Ole, going for a cheeky right click here and there. But Lowkey Esports look like they want to set up on the high ground here. They don't want to give British Hurricane any free damage, but it does mean they're going to be grouped together if Numlock wants to throw in a fire strike. And there's no way to eat that with a defense matrix when you're playing the Sombra instead of a Diva.
And Lowkey have to make a maneuver here. Numlock perfectly catching Fasty. He does get stunned in the back, of course, by Liko, and he actually ends up getting taken down. Yofi's going to find a kill.
How are they doing this?
Lowkey, they're dead. It's 2-0. It's done.
They're dead. It's done. It's going to be 2-0 to British Hurricane. The second, the Pizza Lover is out of there.
I mean, Maurice, he's building up EMP so quickly, but not quick enough. British Hurricane secure 33% and secure the map and, of course, match point.
Numlock there just making the for real big brain charge for Wrinkle Brain straight into the back. They tried to actually get a stun on him from behind. I saw Liko going in for that shield bash, which may well have facilitated a stun onto Numlock, stopping the damage coming through from the charge. But unfortunately, it was a little bit too late, and Numlock did die, but he did also deliver the payload of damage onto Fasty, and that was easily followed up by a well-drilled British Hurricane. The shot calling there was evidently straight on point. They also forced for Lowkey to give up that high ground that they so desperately wanted to defend from.
Well, I wonder if we see a little bit of Sparker come into the booth. Hopefully so. What's a little bit of a...
Where do you think we'd see a Widow or a hit scan player? Maybe an Ashe on Horizon Lunar Colony?
I mean, at this point, like you mentioned before, because it is a first to three format, you can be like, hey, we can just put Sparker in, get him some booth time, and then we can kind
some
of...
LAN experience.
Exactly, some LAN experience too. And, of course, at the very beginning of the show, we highlighted that there's a very thin pane of glass separating the two teams currently. And the Brazilian teams, and in fact, just Brazilian crowds in general, are just so energetic and so emotional. So they've really got to wrap their heads around the position they're currently in.
Yeah, you know that back at home, the Brazilian viewers will, of course, be cheering on their representatives here from South America. And remember, all of these teams are fighting for spots at the Gauntlet in autumn. Our bottom two teams will be losing their spots there, and our number one team will be earning a spot for their region. And they're not fighting for personal glory here so much as to represent their region. They earn seeds for their entire region, which will be given to the top placing teams in the second contender season, which will come after these showdowns.
Well, we'll have a look what or where Lowkey actually wants to go for this third map. We're going to jump to a quick break. Do not go anywhere.